head south. The south of France with my brother Stefan to go look at some more boats.
I went back to the south of France with some help and high hopes.
Salut, tout prêt?
My brother was the help, and I was soaring on hope that a certain boat called the Neptunian would be my future lady. We went so far south in France that we had to fly to Barcelona and drove 2 hours north to southern France.
This is France, and it's beautiful and really cold.
Our first destination was Argelès-sur-Mer and a meeting with Marco and his steel Pelican, a charming 34-foot world voyager. The owner had made several Atlantic passages with his Pelican, as he called her.
Quand je suis avec une copine, il faut qu'elle ait rien à faire à bord.
It was a charming boat and a solid cruiser.
Pretty cool boat. This will be probably a French episode, so you'll have to learn your French.
It was just too small for my height and frame. Being tall is a real problem in the boat world.
Donc il y a en électronique, il y a un GPS, il y a un Artex pour la météo.
D'accord.
Un papa, un merveille, un détecteur de radar. Là, on a tout le compteur du moteur, 1060 heures.
1060 ans, ok.
C'est 12 litres de gasoil à l'heure, c'est que dalle, quoi. Ça, c'est le plus pas cher.
Being a cook, he baked fresh bread every day on a transatlantic passage. He said it was an absolute necessity.
Voilà.
Un Vulcain from le chantier Bremont.
We then headed up the coast to the town of Le Cat. And just out of curiosity, I had decided to see a boat that was much too big and expensive for me. Our broker Laure could not meet us to see the boat, but a young shipyard hand named Nicolas readily approved. What we saw really surprised us. A Jeanneau Sun Fizz 40. Not only did it seem almost new, it fit. The girl is perfect. A solid build from 1981. Powerful 50 horsepower Perkins with 4,200 hours on its clock. Inside was a new-looking bimini top, roof dodger, and a spinnaker. We looked for problems and found a few, but just a few. A little problem with the porthole, a bit of rust here, balcony post to reattach. Some water under the engine, but it's fresh water, so a small leak from the deck. An awful lot of boat for around 40,000 euros. Negotiable.
Sun Fizz 40 foot. So now we're going to go see HERVE Marine and see an idyll with Mr. HERVE.
We had more boats to see and a meeting with HERVE in Gruissan, just a little further up the coast. HERVE showed us a Jeanneau idyll, almost identical in design as the Sun Fizz, except for its kind of right square-angled cockpit. This girl needed cosmetic attention on its deck, but it had a brand new engine with only 6 hours on it.
C'est quoi?
Un midif.
Un midif, c'est quoi un midif?
C'est le moteur d'un coup.
Non mais là, nous, on était en été et on est passé en hiver il y a 2 jours.
It was getting dark and we arranged with Hervé to see some more boats from his listing the next day. I had a slight hangover that morning from the local wine we drank at dinner last night. Cold wind quickly remedied this. We went to see another Sun Fizz, and it was really interesting because we could compare Sun Fizz and Sun Fizz. And the difference was pretty striking. Same boats, same price, very different condition. Hervé seemed almost embarrassed to show this boat, and he had some serious issues with the seller and his price. Then Hervé was really proud to show us his next boat, a Beneteau First 42, a really popular line of yachts ranging from first 18s to 52s, and still in production. A cruiser racer with a solid reputation worldwide.
Il a 2 filles et ils font partie avec sa femme, ses 2 filles et les 2 chats.
Les filles. Il a créé une cabine pour les filles.
The owner worked at the local boatyard and really fixed up his boat for extreme cruising and comfortable living. Their cat was called Crampon, or Crampon. The meaning is clear. We later talked to Simon, the owner, and he explained how he had rigged his boat for he and his family's needs. He also explained why he chose a Beneteau First, mainly for its quality construction. The First is a serious contender for me, for many reasons, but Hervé wanted us to see something very different, a Kelt.
Donc là on est sur un autre concept qui est un dériveur intégral qui lui est allé au Brésil aussi. Ils ont navigué 5 ans là-bas.
D'accord, ouais. Et ça, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Ça dérive.
It has been absolutely clear that sailboats from the late 70s to early 90s were the best built. The reason is that back then, raw materials were cheaper, so they could really pack it in. And they made boats to last a lifetime, unlike today where everything is made to be disposable. This is indeed a different boat, and also 10 grand more expensive. The boat had a really good vibe, it was cool, but the headroom just too small for us.
It's a pretty cool boat.
We had one more boat to see, the Neptunian 33, and this was my choice. But we were so impressed with the Sun Fizz 40 that we asked our boat broker to see it a second time. She was kind enough to meet us at the boat just after coming out of the hospital. So we went through it again, and it's superb. The owner is a professional skipper, and he'd equipped his girl to cross the Atlantic and back. The lady is just perfect. I spoke to him later on the phone, and his stories and testimonies reassure me the boat was going to be my future vessel.
Really nice boat. Sun Fizz. Incredible.
On voit tout le tableau électrique qui a été refait au stock de 120 pour le chargeur de batterie, les prises d'or de 120 et le chauffe-eau. Ça c'est l'antenne télé. Intégrer la sécurité gaz. Là il y a du rangement, il y a des pièces de rechange Perkins. 2 panneaux ouvrants.
Nice cabin.
Ah ça y est, il dort. Il ronfle, il est rajouté.
Galopant. Ouais, non, c'est beau.
But we had to see the Neptunian, so we met Brigitte from Brigitte PLAISANCE. She had an interesting story, as she lived most of her childhood on a sailboat in the Caribbean. The Neptune was everything she'd promised and what I wanted. There was just one thing wrong with it.
Super cool boat, but it's just a bit small.
Its size. Me and my brother felt like Gandalf in a Hobbit house. The boat was so cool, so British, with great details. It was like a miniature big boat. But for me to fit in there would have been like trying to fit into Cinderella's glass slipper. Possible, just not the right fit.
Speaking in French.
You can speak English too.
I can speak English
Yes,
too with
I
Brigitte.
can.
All right. This boat is so cool. It's just 2 inches taller. Oh, if I was just 2 inches smaller.
You can cut your feet.
I can cut my feet. Yeah. Well, a little bit disappointed in this wonderful boat that's just too small. I feel like a giant. In fact, I feel like a giant in J.R.R. Tolkien movie. Like.
So we drove back across the French and Spanish border, zipping by the huge line of traffic trying to get into France, just a few days after the Paris attacks. And we flew back to Switzerland, really confident we had found the vessel for my Winded Voyage.